you want to hear some music? You'd like that, wouldn't you? Well, today you're going to get all the music you want.
The request lines are now open. KGFJ Soul Radio.
Do it now, man.
Request lines are up.
It's open, man.
Got any Blue Oyster Cult?
No, I don't have any Blue Oyster Cult. I ate 34 pairs last time around. Where were you? I was that close to working at 7-Eleven, you know.
Pass the word along. Tell the men it's time to shoot the moon.
Shoot the moon!
Not out there on the microphone. On the microphone.
Shoot the moon. Shoot the moon.
The attitude dictates that you don't care whether she comes, stays, lays, or prays. I mean, whatever happens, your toes are still tapping.
Hey, Strawberry! Oh, Strawberry. Hey, what's happening, man? How you doing? This is my friend.
Hey, how you doing, man?
What you looking at, man?
Oh, no, nothing. I wasn't looking. I wasn't looking at his neck, man.
Can you honestly tell me that you forgot the magnetism of Robin Zander or the charisma of Rick Nielsen?
That's kid stuff.
Kid stuff. How about the tunes? I want you to want me. The Dream Police. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na.
Build your muscles picking strawberries. You know, bend and scoop. Maybe I could get you a job with United Fruit. I got a buddy with United Fruit. Start with strawberries, you might work your way up to these goddamn bananas. When, boy, are you gonna get your act together?
We're creating a society of cell phone crazed, marijuana smoking zombies.
Coming to you not quite live from Lukewarm Tallboy Studios deep in the land of Gar, this is Bend and Scoop, the podcast featuring music, mirth, and minutia, focused on exposing artists you probably haven't heard, but should. I'm Bob, and I'll be your tour guide on this amazingly asymmetric auditory adventure as we journey to the center of your cochlea. Welcome to episode 14. Kick up your feet and stay a while. Joining us at the end of the show for our Groovin' After Party is our very special guest, Jimmy, from the Talk Me Into podcast, who will be sharing his own personal musical journey with us while playing a round of Is That Your Vinyl Answer? That's right, we spread the gospel of vinyl here at Bend and Scoop, so be sure to tell us all about your favorite neighborhood record store by posting to @BendScoop on Twitter or Instagram using the hashtag SpinMomandPop. Our record store of the week is Groover's Paradise in Austin, Texas, owned and operated by the great Greg Ellis, who managed the record store of my youth, the late great Sundance Records in San Marcos, which was owned by the legendary Bobby Bernard, who sadly just passed away a few weeks ago. But thanks to Greg, Bobby's spirit still lives on at Groover's Paradise. Follow them on Twitter @ToonsHisDad, on Instagram @Groover's Paradise Record Shop, and be sure to also check them out on Facebook. Let's kick off the tunes with something brand new from San Francisco's Marshall Holland. Off his latest album, Paper Airplane, here's She Buys a Dress on Bend and Scoop.
She buys a dress to match with the pink belt. It all sympathetic, but that's how she always felt. To cover up the fumes, she buys that cheap perfume. Makes up the situation, you write up the accusations. It all seems eerie when she puts on those earrings. She wants you to witness at her beauty. And can she would be the last for eternity? Her only obligation is to make up her conversations. Her personality is sweltering now. She has no vulnerability. I'll show you how. She buys a dress to match with the pink belt. It all sympathetic, but that's how she always felt. To cover up the fumes, she buys that cheap perfume. Makes up the situation, should you write out the accusations? It all seems eerie
From 2002's Honey in the Hive, that's Philadelphia's The Bigger Lovers with What Would It Take? What would it take for you to subscribe, rate, and review us at Apple Podcasts or wherever you grab your pods? We appreciate any and all feedback. Here's a guy you may be familiar with from his work with Jack White as a member of the Raconteurs. This is Brendan Benson off his new album Dear Life with Freak Out on Bend and Scoop.
Drifted off again, lost my train of thought again. So I just nod my head and then I smile. And I could take this little pink pill, and if that don't work, I know what will. I can't sit still, I need to get out for a while. Find a place so I can be alone, and I can freak out if I wanna. Yeah, I can freak out if I wanna. I can freak out if I wanna. Oh, I can freak out if I wanna. Oh yeah, I can freak out, I can freak out. I can freak out, I can freak out. The door is down, arriving hall, and if I try to stand, I'm afraid I'll fall. So I think I'll just have to crawl like a child. There's a certain place I know where I can be me and let it all show, and let my mind run wild. A little place where I can be alone, so I can freak out if I wanna. I can freak out if I wanna. I can freak out if I wanna. Oh yeah, I can freak out if I wanna. I can freak out, I can freak out. I can freak out, I can freak out. I can freak out, I can freak out.
Thanks for the ride. I've been out here all day. I'm not interrupting anything, am I?
Me and the wife just having a little squabble, okay?
Oh, it's not easy getting rides, you know what I mean? I mean, most people are afraid to pick up hitchhikers. I mean, you never know who you might pick up. I mean, I could be some crazed slimeball. I mean, a real deranged, violent psycho, you know what I mean? I mean, a guy who would rip your heart out and eat it just for pleasure. I'm talking about a total maniac. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why aren't we moving? Don't you want to give me a ride?
I'm only going about another mile.
Then what the hell did you pick me up for? You think I got nothing better to do with my life than to sit here and to pass the time with you? Shit brain! I don't think I want this ride after all. And I think I'll take your wife, if you don't mind.
Like an
Love that one. Heart Full of Black by Philly's Burning Brides from their 2004 album Leave No Ashes. You can hear that on our Bend and Scoop Spotify playlist along with every other song we've played on all our episodes, or at least those that Spotify has the rights to, so technically 97.4% of the songs we've played. We're 150 for 154. This next band has been around since 1976, when they first formed in Leeds, England. Well, here we are 44 years later, and they are still rocking. With Glass from their latest EP, Anti-Hero, here is Gang of Four on Bend and Scoop.
If it's relentless, gut-wrenching rock and roll you want, then overload your circuits with AC/DC and their new album, Power Rage. This exciting new Atlantic release of AC/DC is being featured at Streetside Records for only $4.99. Stop in at Streetside Records for your record or tape of AC/DC's Power Rage. And remember, Streetside Records has more new releases on sale than anyone in town. That's Streetside Records on Delmar and U City and on Old Orchard and Webster. Master charge and Visa welcome.
Calculate the loot.
from one of my all-time favorite albums, 2001's Distance and Climb. That's Truth Flies Out by the Pride of Denton, Texas, Central-Matic. They claim to have closed up shop back in 2014, but I still hold out hope that one day they'll get back at it. I want to thank Frozen Lazarus for having me and a couple of our mutual friends, Todd and Jim, on the latest episode of his Putting on the Wrist podcast. If you haven't checked it out yet, be sure to give it a listen. Up next, all the way from the Netherlands, is Amsterdam's Daryl Ann, a Dutch band I hear is really big in Holland.
What is Holland?
What do you mean, what is it? It's a country right next to Belgium.
No, that's the Netherlands.
Holland is the Netherlands.
Then who are the Dutch?
From their 2014 album Don't Stop, this is We Love Danger on Bend and Scoop.
Friends in a higher place, and don't you ask me why.
Mind if I sit here?
Sure, buddy, go ahead.
Thank you, come.
2 beers.
And another double bourbon.
I got one of them sweepstake flyers in the mail today, and I can't figure if it's worth the effort to send it in. You think I should bother? Yeah, probably not. She says she's from Paris. I don't believe that. Paris women don't give you a hard time like they do here. To a Paris woman, sex is an art.
1 tequila eggnog.
I had fried food again for lunch today. I know, I shouldn't have had it, but I couldn't help myself. You think I lack self-discipline? What's wrong with me? I'm a good-looking guy.
You are. You are a good-looking guy. And I'm a good-looking guy.
You are?
I am.
We're all 3 good-looking guys.
That's right. We are. And it's Christmas time, and I'm gonna buy you a drink. What are you drinking?
Something light.
With like a nice Chablis?
Spritzer.
A spritzer. Barkeep, give this man a trough of spritzer. And you, cowboy guy, what do you want to drink?
I'll have a beer.
Get cowboy guy a beer. It's on me tonight. Drinks are on me. They're on me.
5 years from this afternoon, will they say you went too soon? Change your life, 'cause this one's killing you. Change your life, it's what you've gotta do. Before you go down one last time, before you wear that Kool-Aid smile, say you will find a better way. Say you will get some therapy.
Brooklyn's Champale with Change Your Life from 2001's Simple Days. They really had a great sound. Wonder whatever happened to them. Don't forget to stick around for the end of the show when our special guest Jimmy from the Talk Me Into podcast will join us for our Groovin' After Party. Our next artist is a singer-songwriter who's overcome some serious health battles and is still going strong, now entering his 6th decade in the music business. You may remember his early 80s cowpunk band Rank and File, or perhaps you're more familiar with his niece, the queen of percussion, Sheila E. most notable for her collaborations with Prince, but you should really get to know him for his great tunes, like this rockin' jam from 2001's A Man Under the Influence. Here's Alejandro Escovedo with Castanets on Bend and Scoop.
She works without a net. I like her better when she walks away. She said she was mine. She told me twice. I like her better when she walks away. Yeah, I like her better when she walks away. I like her better when she didn't stay. Yeah, like her better when she dances my way. Come on, I like her better when she walks away. Come on. I love the sun when it's silhouette. I like her better when she walks away. I love her hair fall across my face. I like her better when she walks away. Yeah, I like her better when she walks away. I like her better when she didn't stay. Yeah, like her better when she dances my way. Come on, I like her better when she walks away. Come on. Plays castanets. She works without a net. I like her better when she walks away. She turns me on like a pickup truck. I like her better when she walks away. I love the sun shining through her dress. I like her better when she walks away. I love her hair in a tangled mess. I like her better when she walks away. Yeah, I like her better when she walks away. I like her better when she didn't stay. Like her better when she dances my way. Come on, I like her better when she walks away. Come on.
September 18, you and 3,500 friends are invited to take a wild ride down the highway to hell. Plug into the 1980 AC/DC High Voltage Tour. Electrifying, scorching AC/DC live in concert September 18th at the Kiel Opera House. Tickets are on sale now at Backstage Records, Lame Duck, Co-op, Spectrum, All Three Peaches, the Kiel Opera House box office, or call Dial-Tix at 569-0500. Prepare yourself for the shock of your life. The 1980 AC/DC High Voltage Tour, September 18th, Kiel Opera House. Produced by Contemporary Productions.
Things were much better back then when I was abroad. I had no trouble finding a friend when I was abroad. I'd wander for miles and miles, and every face gave me a smile. from the Grand Coulee Dam to the Nile when I was abroad. Well, I never had trouble with love when I was abroad. No, it seemed to just fall from above when I was abroad. Then I met her and we were engaged, and soon enough everything changed. I was held back and kept encaged from being abroad. When I was abroad, I saw everything there was to see. Since I've been home with you, well, I just don't feel like me. My days just seem to hang low when every day used to be stacked. So I'm telling my wife that I miss my old life, and I'm working on changing it back.
That was the extremely prolific Daniel Romano from Welland, Ontario, with a great cheeky twanger called When I Was Abroad from his 2013 album Come Cry With Me. He's already released several albums, EPs, and even a live record so far in 2020, and has yet another album coming out on September 18th. At this rate, he's going to give Bob Pollard a run for his money before long. You know, there's not a lot you can depend on these days, but hopefully you've come to realize the consistent release schedule and show format of this podcast is definitely the sure thing.
Gibson! What?
Don't you have an 8 o'clock?
What time is it?
9 to 8.
Walter Gibb Gibson lives life on the edge.
What do you think of that guy, Gibb? I don't.
Forget it, Gibson. I hear she likes the intellectual type.
So I'm intellectual and stuff.
You're flanking English. That's your mother tongue and stuff.
Allison Bradbury favors a more orderly existence.
7 o'clock news, 7:30 shower, 7:45 phone call. 8 o'clock?
8 o'clock, I don't know. That's when I rearrange my sock drawer.
They have very little in common.
How would you like to have a sexual encounter so intense it could conceivably change your political views?
Except that each has someone waiting in California.
Gibb, I'm talking to you cordless. What are you doing for Christmas break, huh?
There's a certain someone here I want you to meet.
For Gibb, the girl of his dreams, a guaranteed sure thing.
You want it. I want it. You know I want it.
For Allison, her boyfriend, a respectable, safe thing.
How about a good hot mug of China Black?
And from a small New England college, both are willing to travel across the country by car.
No, I should have taken the bus.
What, and wind up sitting next to some sleazebag? Some sleazebag you don't know?
By foot. By truck.
So what's in California?
Girl, it's supposed to be a sure thing.
A sure thing, no questions asked, no strings attached.
No guilt involved.
A sure thing.
Together, they must overcome enthusiastic travel companions.
Hi, welcome aboard. I'm Marianne Webster.
And I'm Gary Cooper, but not the Gary Cooper that's dead. Hop in.
Personality conflicts.
Middle of nowhere, it's cold, there's no cars, you stay and hitch.
You're gonna walk? It's almost 20 miles.
And don't follow me.
And Mother Nature.
I have a credit card.
I have a credit card.
Oh. My dad told me specifically I can only use it in case of an emergency.
Well, maybe one will come up.
But adversity often has a way of making strange bedfellows.
Don't try anything, I swear.
I trust you.
And somewhere on the road to a sure thing, Allison and Gibb just might discover the real thing.
For you.
Thank you.
Embassy Pictures presents a new film by Rob Reiner, The Sure Thing.
My whole life I never had a sure thing.
baby by the hand, make her do a handstand, and take your baby by the heel, and do the next thing that you feel, yeah. We were so in phase in our dance hall days. We were cool on craze when I and you and everyone we knew could believe and do, sharing what was true. Well, I said in the dance all days love, take your baby by the hair, pull her close and there, and take your baby by the ears, and play upon her darkest fears. We were so in phase in our dance hall days. We were cool on craze when I and you and everyone we knew could believe, do, to sharing what was true. I said, yeah. In the dance all days love, in the dance all days love, in the dance all days love, take your baby by the wrist, and in her mouth an amethyst, and in her eyes two sapphires blue, 'cause you need her and she needs you, 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 'cause you need me and I need you, yeah, 'cause we were so in phase in our dance hall days. We were cool on craze when I and you and everyone we knew to believe, to sharing what was true. Well, I said, if the dance all days love, and the dance all days love, the dance all days love, I'll make it funky one time. I said you and me and the dance all days. I call me you and me, girl, in the dance all days.
People listen to people. So listen, people. Welcome to the Groovin' After Party. Come on in and pour yourself a cold one.
Joining me is a very special guest from the Talk Me Into podcast. We've got Jimmy, one of the hosts, the co-host. I believe you're also the producer. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Producer, editor, and co-host. It is quite the bundle.
Yes, that's quite the load.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So, yeah, Talk Me Into is our podcast. It is a podcast where a group of friends try to talk each other and the audience into liking what we like. So we do a bunch of stuff. We do music, obviously. We have movies, TV shows a lot at the time, and a whole bunch of really fun stuff.
Really enjoyed your latest episode where you guys kind of went through the past band history that I guess all or most of you had been in bands back in your teen years or in your early 20s.
Yeah, my co-hosts Dan and Jeff, they are lifelong best friends, and they're a little bit older than me. So when they were in high school, they were in bands together, and we went through all their discography, and it was a wild romp. It was a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah, it was fun. If I had done that, I was never talented enough musically to have been in a band, but I can imagine that you got to kind of have some bravery to put your earlier work out there from your younger years.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It was some of his older stuff, like Jeff's Drag Queen. Oh, boy, that was rough. But honestly, more power to him, because I don't know if I'd be able to put that stuff on the internet again.
It was definitely fun. So what we've got, Jimmy, is a little round of what we like to call Is That Your Vinyl Answer? Kind of a tribute to the recently departed late, great Regis, but also just because we're so focused on the classic vinyl records here at Bend and Scoop. So we'll go ahead and start with asking you, what was the first record that you ever bought? Now, it may not have been vinyl. It may have been on CD, cassette, or whatever, but what's the first one you remember buying?
I will actually go with vinyl because I do have a vinyl collection, and the first vinyl that I bought, I actually bought 6 of them. I can remember the exact day. It was on Black Friday in 2012 because it was Record Store Day, and my cousin and our friend Jeff, we all stayed up overnight to stay in line for Record Store Day. And my first record was the Gaslight Anthem, Handwritten, also one of my favorite records.
Nice. Do you remember what store that was that you bought it at?
Yes, it is Red Scroll Records in Wallingford, Connecticut.
Oh, nice. A independent mom and pop shop. We love those.
Oh, yeah. It's pretty well known in Connecticut. A lot of bands came from there. Like the store themselves have put out some records. And the internet's busiest music nerd, Anthony Fantano, very popular YouTube channel. He is also a big spender there. He likes to go to that store too. So it's a really nice store. I like going there a lot.
That's awesome. And normally we ask, do you still have that record? But since it was fairly recently, I would assume you still have that Gaslight Anthem record.
Yeah.
Now,
yes, I do.
Which band or artist albums do you own the most in your collection?
Funny enough, I own every single Gaslight Anthem album, and I also own most, if not all of them, for the band HostageCom. That, funny enough, was from that record store. They helped them put out, I believe, their early albums. And our theme song for Talk Me Into is actually a HostageCom song, and they are one of my favorite bands of all time. So definitely recommend them.
Awesome. Now, which Gaslight Anthem or HostageCom or both, which album of theirs is your favorite?
Ooh, I'll go with HostageCom. My favorite HostageCom album is Die on Stage, which was unfortunately their final album. I was able to see them perform a lot of the music for their very last show, which was very enjoyable. I like that band a lot, so it was fun to see their last show.
I'll have to check them out. I'm not familiar with them. Is it more of kind of a punk rock sound, just indie rock?
Yep, they started off definitely more like hardcore punk, and then they went a little bit more melodic and like pop punk towards the end. I enjoy more their like pop punk stylings. There's some songs where you can be like, oh, if the Beatles were like in the year 2010, like it would be like that music.
Okay.
It's really good.
Excellent. Now,
very catchy.
Going back all the way to, I guess, your childhood when you would have been getting, I guess, CDs or whatever was the predominant medium at that time. Which album have you had to replace the most over the years, either by wearing it out or losing it or loaning it out, whatever the case may be? Is there one that you've had to buy multiple times?
I don't think there's one where I've had to buy it multiple times, but it's because I just like having it in so many different mediums because I'm a collector at heart, so I like to have different things. I would say the most frequently bought album that I bought was the Blues Brothers motion picture soundtrack.
Oh, I love that.
My favorite movie. I love the music. Yeah, I have a Blues Brothers tattoo on my arm. Huge Blues Brothers fan.
Oh, man, you're speaking my language. I love that movie, too, and the music's great. I didn't realize it at the time.
Yeah.
So many of the guys in the backing band were guys from like Booker T and the MGs and all these great like Stax artists that were huge, like Donald Duck Dunn and Steve Cropper. When I was a kid, I didn't know who they were. Now looking back on it, it's like they really compiled this amazing band. It was awesome.
For some reason, Spotify doesn't have the complete soundtrack. So there was a playlist dedicated to the actual, basically all the songs off the soundtrack, but it didn't have Minnie the Moocher or whatever, like the actual soundtrack version. So I finally listened to Cab Calloway's original version of Minnie the Moocher. I was like, whoa, this is like so much different. But it was actually really enjoyable to listen to the original.
Yeah, that's probably one of my favorite scenes in the movie when he's performing that. It's so awesome.
Yeah.
Who among all of your friends and family, anybody you know, has the largest collection of vinyl that you can think of?
Definitely Dan, my co-host. He's my cousin, and he's the one who got me into vinyl. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be collecting it. But honestly, I'm very thankful. He's talked me into a lot of things in my life.
Do you have a ballpark guess of how many albums he might have?
Probably say like 200. I have about like 80 in my collection. Not a ton, but he's definitely a collector.
Our last question normally would be, what's your favorite record store? But I think based on what you were discussing earlier, we kind of already have answered that. What do you guys have coming up in the future here on Talk Me Into? Do you have any episodes around the corner that have some interesting topics?
Yes, we're doing an episode on Haim, Three Sisters. Pretty enjoyable. I'm not going to spoil if I was talked into it or not. We have a listener's choice episode coming up as well. Some listeners are suggesting some ideas. Yeah, it's probably one of the most exciting things I've worked on.
How often do your episodes post?
We release weekly on Tuesdays. Tuesday morning when you wake up, the episode's going to be there. Hopefully you listen to it. Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, all the big boys.
Well, Jimmy, thanks so much for taking some time to do this with us. Really appreciate it. We had a good time, and we'll definitely be listening to more Talk Me Into. Really enjoyed it and think it's definitely something our listener, or maybe you should pluralize it by now, would really enjoy. All right. Thanks a lot, Jimmy.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you having me on.
You can find Bend and Scoop online at our website, bendandscoop.com, or a variety of podcast platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Buzzsprout, TuneIn, Podchaser, Deezer, Podcast Addict, and Listen Notes. You also can follow us on social media at Bend Scoop for both Twitter and Instagram, at Bend and Scoop on Facebook, and you can email us at bendandscooppodcast@gmail.com. If you're looking for another podcast to listen to, I'm part of one called How Many, which features myself and several other friends, including Jesse, Junior, Scott, sometimes Gary, and a few other special guest co-hosts, where we rate and debate all manner of pop culture, music, movies, TV, you name it. Find us on Twitter at How Many Podcast.
Bye-bye, Lordy.